Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rangers review. Myself and Chris Jack, probably the last man in those hurricane-like conditions in Dumbarton. Listen, the technical issues. Anyone who's been watching the game on Viaplay will have seen that there's been a few technical issues in the area tonight, shall we say, Chris? So we're going to try and bring you a short match reaction, so long as Chris's tripod stays standing. Talk about the game. Talk about really the big news to come out of the game, Chris, which was the fact that Abdallah Sima is injured at AFCON. That's not great. Let's start with the game quickly. Not one we'll rush to watch back. Pretty professional from Rangers, who missed quite a lot of chances early on, and very much progression and up the road. And glad that there was no injuries on that pitch, which didn't look great on the TV pictures.
I'm just going to try and hold on to this tripod, Josh. I don't fancy my chance of not cooping and maybe giving people seasickness as they're watching the video. It's been a rather unpleasant night all round in Dumbarton, and I think the manager used the word professional in his press conference after the game. I think that basically sums it up for Rangers. It was a job well done to come down here. A strong team was a signal of intent. They could easily have won by more. If Rangers had scored 6, 7, 8 goals tonight, I don't think Dumbarton could have any complaints at all. No, Rangers completely dominated in terms of possession, dominated in terms of territory, and I think they really got out of the game all they wanted to. Also, the clean sheet would have been nice. Another goal conceded from a set piece is not great. Certainly something that I'm sure the manager will have to work on and have to address going forward. But as he used that word professional, he was pleased with some of the match minutes he was able to get in, like Barisic, Jackie and Tom Lawrence, after their respective injury problems. So I think it's very much a job well done for Rangers tonight. But as we're going to come on and talk to, no night for Rangers is ever perfect, unfortunately.
No, absolutely not. Like, I can see the conditions behind you, Chris. So you're doing well to keep standing. Abdallah Sima, for those of you who have not seen on Twitter, he is injured, is returning from AFCON early because of injury. I'll read what Philippe Coman had to say quickly in his press conference, which you can watch or read on our website or YouTube page. He said, "It's always dangerous to hear these things about Sima being injured. Obviously, the news emerging out of the camp in Senegal. When they happen, when they're not here, I always like to hear my medical staff and what they think about things. So Abda's going to come back as fast as possible. I've been in contact with him already. He's going to come back as fast as possible to make a good assessment and to see how long he will be out." Chris, it was a blow that Abdallah Sima was going to be out for Rangers for a few games, being away at the Africa Cup of Nations. You wrote a column in midweek about injury issues. This only further compounds it. I mean, it is just absolutely plagued Rangers season so far. And the news that Sima, likely as Clement says, will need to do a full assessment. The news coming out from AFCON was that it was a thigh injury. You hope it's not serious, but however many games he's going to miss is more games than he was supposed to be away at this tournament. That's a big blow, given how well he's performed, but also the fact he's already scored, 15, 16 goals for Rangers this season. I mean, that's going to be really hard to replace over the next couple of months.
One of the press guys actually just asked me before I headed down here to do the video, I said, is it fair to say that Sima has been Rangers' best outfield player this season? I said, yes, by some distance. Obviously, him and Jack Butland have been the stars of the show for Rangers this year. Sima's influence, his impact, his contribution, we've spoken enough about it. Now you've had some excellent pieces on it as well. Just looking at the difference that he's made to Rangers this year. Not having him for the duration of the AFCON, if Senegal were to go the whole way, would have been a really sore one for Rangers. To potentially miss him for even longer. And obviously, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Still waiting on that assessment. The manager will speak on Tuesday ahead of the trip to Easter Road. It's going to be one of the first couple of questions. Another injury question. I know he loves them, obviously, but no, it's obviously a really sore one for Rangers because Sima has been such an integral part of this side. Perhaps changes what he has to now go and do in the transfer market. And we're all been saying for the last weeks, months, Rangers need another striker, need somebody else to put the ball in the back of the net. If you look at Sima's contribution in that, if you take those goals, you take the assists, you take that attacking threat out the side, that has to be replaced. There's no option. The likes of Matondo, he's not good enough to sustain that over the second half of the season. So if Sima is going to be out for longer term, Rangers will need to try and do something in the transfer market. And we know they're obviously working hard on various deals. We know they're working hard to try and strengthen the areas that the manager has identified through the middle and the wide areas and potentially at left back. But so losing Sima would be a real unexpected blow, and it sums up, like I said, in that piece on the site. I think it was Wednesday. If Rangers didn't laugh, they would cry sometimes, because their luck it just completely run out. Even someone who's not actually part of the squad picking up an injury, it really does sum up their wretched luck. And the fact that it's a thigh injury, the fact that it's another muscle one, you automatically fear the worst. If it had just been he's taken a dun and it's a dead leg, a couple of weeks he'll be fine. The fact that it's a muscle one certainly doesn't go well. So we can only keep our fingers crossed. The manager said obviously that he has spoken to Abdallah. He's keen to get him back in Glasgow as soon as possible. And we'll just need to wait and see what the process is. But fans rightly, even when things are good and Rangers win fairly comfortably, this season shows there's always a dark cloud just round the corner, unfortunately.
Yeah, couldn't put it better myself. Listen, David P says Sima's injury leaves Rangers short where they are already short, and I think that sums it up very well, David. Listen, Chris, you go back to the start of December when Rangers were already light in those forward areas. Sima and Danilo performing well. We're going to let you go in about 2 minutes, Chris. Only heightens, as you say, the need to strengthen in an area that they already needed to strengthen when both of those players were fit. Clement did say, I think, speaking on Viaplay, I see a squad that's pushing every day to be in the starting 11. We need to continue in that way with a few transfers in the next couple of days or next few weeks. So, it does sound like the manager is hopeful of bringing a few more players in. They need to. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. And just to finish, Chris, before we do let you out these conditions. Cyril Dessers, kind of another night of what we've come to expect. He's actually got 11 goal contributions and 13 starts under Clement, which is pretty good. Missed a few chances, scored a good goal, a bit of a scrappy finish, but I thought his movement was good. I think he's going to contribute before now and the end of the season. I think for Rangers to win stuff, they still need more clinical players in the final third, especially if Sima is going to be out for a while. Have I said anything controversial with that sentence?
I don't think so. No, I think you're fairly spot on there. Again, it's points that we have discussed and debated, and I don't know people have really had their say on over the course of the season. If you were just to look at Dessers' numbers, you would think, what a season this boy's having. He's having a good run. The manager's really managed to get something out of him. He might be worth signing. If any clubs fancy that, then by all means, I'm sure they could make an approach. But overall, his contribution is still not great. There's obviously parts of his game that I've discussed, parts of his game that we know about that aren't good enough. But he is going to be required between now and the end of the season. Rangers aren't going to go and sign Fabio Silva and then go and sign potentially another one over the next few days and then go and sign another one to then bump Dessers down the pecking order. Dessers at worst is going to be third choice. At worst, he's going to have a big role to play in this campaign. And if we can somehow find another 10, 12 goal involvements between now and the end of the season, that could go a long way for Rangers. He's not the type of guy who you can hang your hat on to score goals, because we've seen that often enough in the first half of the season. He's not going to provide the level of goals on his own for Rangers to go and win the title. They do need further reinforcements, not just at number 9. I think they need more goals and more guile within that entire attacking line. But I say, big Dessers, one thing you can say about him, he tries. I don't think he hides. I don't think his head goes down. He's had his fair share of stick over the course of the season. He's had a lot of criticism. He's been booed off at Ibrox. He takes all these things on the chin. Always comes out smiling. He seems to get it. And again, when he does get that support from the fans, I think he really appreciate it. He's desperate to go and repay them. He knows himself the first half of the season didn't go to plan. He knows himself it wasn't good enough. But I think he does understand all those aspects. But I think he's still got the belief in himself to suggest that he wants to play a part, that he wants to contribute. And I think he's got the belief in himself that he can play some role in a successful Rangers side this season.
Absolutely right, Chris. We're going to cut short a shorter match reaction tonight. Everyone can see the conditions behind you. A great shift out there in Dumbarton. We're going to be back on Monday morning to look back in more detail again. But just before you go, Chris, you've got a fantastic 2-part interview coming up over the next couple of days. We've got almost 300 people on the video just now. I'm sure hopefully a few more will watch later. If you've not subscribed to the website, Fantastic couple of pieces coming your way to give you every reason to. Chris, you want to just give people a brief 1 minute summary of what's coming up in this interview with Seb Jacobs and what people can expect over the 2 days?
Can't head for home without giving my piece a much needed plug. I sat down with Zeb sometime, I think it was last week, in the middle of last week. I had a nice chat with him up at the training ground. I got a good bit of time with him. His first major interview, his first exclusive interview that he's done since he was appointed to his new role in the summer. So part one that's on the site tomorrow kind of charts his early playing days and how they came to an abrupt end. I won't ruin the story for people by telling them how that came to an end. But it charts from that moment when he decided I'm not going to be a professional footballer anymore. In 10 years or so, he's gone from that decision to being in charge of the Rangers Academy. So part one really charts his rise in the game, some of the influences, some of the ways that he's developed as a person, the way he's developed as a coach, and he goes into a lot of detail about the personal journey that he's been on. Part two, it's out on Monday, is more in depth on Rangers now. What's his vision for the future? What's he brought to the academy? What's some of the innovations? He's really big on innovations. He talks about looking out the window and trying to find the best practice from other clubs, other academies, other associations. So it looks at some of the things that he's brought into the academy, some of the things that he's tried to bring in terms of like the Conference League and the Lowland League, and where Rangers fit into that, and really just setting his kind of vision and setting his targets for the Rangers Academy to potentially be one of the best in Europe, because there's no reason why it can't be. We had the story, I think it was September time, about Rangers coming out on top of the Club Academy Scotland rankings for the first time. As a major milestone that for the club, because after so many years of underinvestment in the academy, so many years of having to rebuild basically the entire structure from the ground up, people always expect immediate results. Youth development is a long-term process. It's an ever-evolving process. You're not just going to get overnight successes. And hopefully the interview with Zeb that we'll put in the next couple of days hopefully gives the fans a bit of insight into, one, what the club are doing, and two, a bit of insight into the man that's actually leading it. So I hope everybody enjoys it. It was a pleasure to catch up with him. Thanks to Rangers for sorting out. Thanks to Zeb for his time. And so hope everyone enjoys what he's had to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Read them both. Brilliant pieces, kind of giving a bit of insight behind the person and the ideas as well. So would encourage people to read that as always. Until then, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. As mentioned, we'll be on longer on Monday. A big week coming up. Hopefully some transfers to discuss, but we won't hold our breath of those coming into Rangers. Chris, get home safe. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.